Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I pray that you're well, inshallah, and in the best of iman and health. Before I start this message, I need to mention that, sisters, what I'm about to say is not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from a place of judgment. And I'm not looking down on anyone, subhanallah. In fact, what I'm about to say, to those sisters who do hijab tutorials and to those sisters who follow those hijab tutorials, because it's a craze. Some of the sisters who do these type of tutorials have a massive following of young sisters. I want you to know that I do not look down on you. I want you to know that I acknowledge, but rather I can swear by Allah, that I don't know the condition of your heart. Your heart could be more closer to Allah than mine. My message is not that, you're not sincere, but rather what I want to say is that understand that you guys, some of you have a huge following, and when you're teaching hijab tutorials, some of you are teaching it the incorrect way. When I say the incorrect way, I mean that the hijab is not just the scarf that goes on your head. It's everything else that follows. It's the full attire that follows. And not all the sisters, unfortunately, are following it in the way that it's meant to be. And so my message to you is this, that you can do what you want to do, no one can judge you but Allah. But here's the problem, sisters. Like I mentioned, some of you have a large following, and those large bunch of sisters are following the way you are teaching them how to wear the hijab, including the headscarf and everything else that follows. And for those of you who are teaching it the wrong way, my message to you is just simply this, that on the day of judgment, when there is no shade but the shade of Allah, when everyone will have to account for their own deeds, you will have to also account for another 1,000 sisters who didn't wear the hijab properly because you taught them. You have to account for another 2,000 sisters who wore the attire incorrectly because they looked up to you. Subhanallah. So my message is this, brothers and sisters, that look, sometimes, it's not enough just to be sincere. I don't doubt your sincerity. That's the first part you have to understand. I don't doubt it. But sometimes it's not enough to be sincere, because someone can be a sincere fool. Someone can be a sincere idiot. Someone can be sincere, but they're still foolish in what they do. Someone can be sincere, but they're still idiotic in their ways. It doesn't take away from their sincerity, but it also doesn't take away from the fact that what they're doing is wrong. So when we do something, brothers and sisters, along with the sincerity, the actions has to be correct. And unfortunately, not all the sisters who are teaching the hijab tutorials, all of the sisters' actions are not correct. And I just want you to bear in mind that you are not carrying just your own burden on that day. You're carrying the burden of all those who follow you, because you'll have to answer on their behalf also, because they looked up to you and they followed you. My message is just this, inshallah. But inshallah, be careful in what you teach. Be careful in what you show out there on the social media, because people are following you and they're taking your word for it. They don't know any other. They don't know any better. They only look up to you. They might not have any scholars around them. They only have the YouTube channels and so on and so forth. So inshallah, I end by saying once again that I'm not being facetious when I say that you watching this are most likely better than me. You watching this, your heart is perhaps closer to Allah than mine, but it doesn't take away from the fact that when we teach something, inshallah, it should be the correct way, not the one that we made up that we think is acceptable in these, in the times that we live in. Inshallah, forgive me if I've said anything to upset anyone. That is not my intention, and peace be upon all of you, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.